Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm in Mario's shop with Devin Jensen. We're working on his hybrid build. If you missed the beginning of this build, here it is.
We want to make sure that we have everything up and running before we tear it down for powder coat. I want to be able to get this thing back, assemble it, and be confident this thing is going to run, and Devin can pick it up. Today's deal is getting the engine in, set up the front end as far as getting the tie rods, making sure everything is bolted in, swing arm, carrier, axle, hopefully maybe brakes, depends on how far along and how things go, but that's the start of it.
Do you think we'll hear it run today in the video?
Probably not today.
Okay, and this is a multi-part video for the channel, so we are going to close it out with hopefully seeing you rip it on a track.
Yeah.
And you just got an invite to a private track?
Yep, we'll keep that private for now, but
sure,
yeah.
We're not going to talk about where, but we're going to go film at an undisclosed location.
Yeah, when it's done, I got access to a track to go test and tune.
Yeah, and I'll be sure to bring my camera so you guys can check out this machine and Devin in action. But for now, time to get wrenching.
Absolutely. I think the powder coat is forcing it out right in here. The powder coat adds, you know, call it 30 thousandths-ish. But anyway, this back behind here was about an 1/8 inch this way, which was pushing this over about 1/4 of an inch. Now that I remove that, it sits nice and flat. That's one of the biggest reasons why you need to clean the powder coat off of all the mating surfaces.
That is a tight fit.
It's very close.
And show us with your finger the modification you had to do again. Now that we're all powder coated, it's difficult to see.
So up in here had to be trimmed. This amount of material had to be removed. This had to get radiused, and this cleaned out in here too. And then we had to drill a hole in the top for where that goes. All right, let me see if it comes in this way. Yeah, okay, money.
And before you actually throw that up there, Mario, will you show us on the swing arm what you had to modify again?
Okay. In here, we needed to remove the material, and then I just filled that back in with weld to narrow this space up. This inner piece came with the kit. It was modified shorter.
And it has to fit around the back end of that dirt bike engine. Show us with your fingers, Devin, the space that's got to right in there. Yep. All right, let's see if she fits.
It wants to go now.
See if we can't get the... Yeah, I was gonna say it needs to go in like together. Don't get crazy, just...
Here. I don't mind getting some on my finger.
Yeah, sure. Sure you don't.
What, you don't like when people just put a glob this big on there and
Yeah, then I go
off and wipe it on your pan?
Yeah, well that and pull the bolt out the next time and, you know, stuff's everywhere. As much as grease is good, it also sticks the dirt to it, so. Where's
You're
that
in.
punch? I need that. Okay.
Ooh, butter.
Okie doke. Now let's do this here. Gotta fish this up in like so. Okay. Where are the two? That's not the two bolts.
I need my glasses.
What's his name, Mort?
He's the pharmacist. I need my glasses. Where are my glasses? I can't widen this hole without my glasses.
Record yourself, John.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And resume talk. Marking all these bolts that we just torqued. Because we're going in stages and we come back to it, I want to know that I've done all this already. That one I got to do. That's done.
What are those brake guards made out of?
It's made out of aluminum. Takes the place of the stock plastic. They flex, they get loose and they move. This is more rigid, keeps the stuff from getting into the back of the rotor.
Now, would you do that with a water jet or a plasma cutter?
Designed it and then had it water jet cut. Cut it on the plasma table first, make sure it fit, and then I sent it out to get water jet. Just does a nicer job. I make it for the LTR and the YFZR.
Ooh, that sounded good. Can you say it in an Italian accent?
I make it for you, for the Suzuki and the Yamaha.
The Yamaha was more southern than Italian.
Yeah, well,
That was a valid truck.
what do you want? Yeah, Suzuki.
There it is.
I guess we could put the linkage together.
You run a different lower linkage there for MX?
Over top? Yeah, so it's extended linkage because I got long travel rear shock.
I see it's Walsh.
Yep.
Yeah, so the difference between that and a stock one is how many inches, or is it even that far? Is it a centimeter?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Half inch? I think maybe an inch.
It changes the leverage ratio in the back. You're using it for a longer shock, but It was originally designed for a heavier rider. Just installed these bushings. We're going to install the rear shock. I'm just going to loosely put it in there because it needs to come back out when I put it on the frame table to set the front end up.
Well, here, when he lowered it down just now, it gave you more room too.
Yeah, you gotta have.
I got to pull that shock. I got to pull that bottom assembly out when I put it on the table anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it.
So why do you have to take all that back off?
So when I go to put it on the frame table to set the front end, I disconnect it, and the quad sits on a jig that I've made at ride height. And then once it's sitting at ride height and it's level, then I can go and set the camber caster and toe in the front, and I know I'm not worried about a tire being bigger around than another. You know, I take all the variables out of it so I can get that front the best I can.
So you're doing this without any wheels on it?
No, it can have wheels, it can be whatever, but the shocks will be disconnected from everything, so it'll be out of the equation, because there's going to be, where this linkage gets bolted up, there's a jig that bolts in place of it. And then same in the front. You don't put a front bumper on, the jig bolts into the front and holds the frame at ride height. This is where you think we know what we're doing.
Welcome to this old garage with Mario.
Yeah.
It looks cool and all, but in reality, it probably should sit like right here.
Yeah, get out of the way of something. And you know what? We actually have room
Do whatever we want.
to do whatever we want. So maybe we don't.
Right off of that.
Maybe I make something and we fit it up into here. Okay, we're gonna install the exhaust.
Who makes the exhaust?
RP Race. They're the same ones that make the rest of the kit. All right, we're gonna vapor blast this brake stay.
Like brand new?
Like brand new. Yeah, it's the next day working on the quad. Devin's not here. Drew's in the shop with me. We're going to continue on. I'm going to put the rims on, rims and tires, do the intake, precision steering dampener, radiator, gas tank. Maybe we'll hear it run. Got the rims and tires on. Now we're going to install the steering stabilizer.
So it essentially clamps around that top rail.
Yeah, it goes through their bracket,
Yeah.
and
Can I
then in
hold
the
this
frame.
up for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
just trying to get the bolt started here.
Yeah.
And it has a pointed set screw in that collar that grabs the steering post so it doesn't slip. So it's like a shock in a lot of ways.
I see you got 2 settings on there.
Yeah, this style has 2 settings. So like one is how it returns back to center, and then one is when it's turned either to the left or to the right, how it's dampening when it's turned. Walsh even makes provisions in their upper A-arm mount on that side, has a flat cutout in it for this stabilizer, or for any steering stabilizer actually. Any of this style. They make different ones. They make ones that are like, they call them stick style, and then you have this style. Finish installing the steering stabilizer. One thing I want to mention is make sure that you have it adjusted correctly so that the steering flag goes all the way to the lock. You want to make sure that it's not adjusted and it's off. You don't want it to bind up. So you want to make sure that it travels all the way, both directions. And we're using this Trail Tech fan with the RP Race mounting bracket because these fans use less energy. Installed the throttle body, hooked up the throttle position sensor, map sensor, fuel injector. We're going to be getting ready to put the air intake in and then move on to the fuel tank. Just going to route some of this wiring out of the way for the time being. A lot of that has to do with switches on the handlebar. We'll come to in a different point. Yeah, we have the fuel tank and throttle body installed. Now we're moving on to the coolant hoses. Let me get, okay.
It's on. Yeah, you got a lot of plugs left.
So this is a starter button. I gotta plug that in, and I need to plug in, which I can just, to get it running, just leave these out here. I gotta figure out the routing, but I want it to come through. Actually, let's see. This. That'll give me a little bit more. I clipped it in.
You're good.
All right, we have our starter button plugged in, our kill switch and mode select plugged into the harness. We put coolant in it, there's engine oil in it. Everything is tight, everything is plugged in, air filters on, fuel in the tank. So we're getting ready to run it. Let's see if we get it to start. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.